Hello, folks. Now, for the longest time, I struggled to... Sorry, guys, I kinda forgot that I'm supposed to be facing this way for a second. I got my directions mixed up. You're probably thinking, Kale, how do you even accidentally do that? But what I'm thinking is, which way is the right way? Like, really, have you ever thought about it? Which way is correct? Yeah, when I say right, I'm not talking about my right, or your right. I'm talking about correct. And also, have you ever realized that up is so much easier to remember than left? Have you ever wondered why that is? Like, what makes the difference here? You're probably so confused, you're like, Kill, just spit it out already. And that's what I'm gonna do. Basically, there's about, I don't know, 6 directions, really. You have up, down, left, right, front, back. Or you also have northeast, southwest. Basically, what I was trying to say at the very beginning of this episode is that I struggled to word this correctly for the longest time, but I think I've nailed it now. Put on your hearing aids and really focus to this, because it might be hard for some of you youngins to grasp what exactly I'm saying here. But like I said a second ago, northeast, southwest. So, say if you're at the front door of your house and you're facing right towards it, say that you're looking towards the north, right? But what if your brain triggers it to make it look like you're looking at the east, south, or west? You get what I'm saying? It's nowhere near as hard as I was thinking it would be to describe that. Yeah, that's a phenomenon that they need to come up with a name for. And I don't even think all people are able to just change it whenever they want. Like, usually there's one default viewpoint that you view the world in, but sometimes, at least for me, I can choose briefly for like a few seconds if I want to view it in any other directional viewpoint. Nothing else changes. All that changes is just your brain triggering itself to make it view the world in that way, if you get what I'm saying. It's kind of weird. Like, what makes it different? Nothing. Nothing changes. It's just that. Directions are sort of one of those things that we humans made up. Yes, they're very helpful for navigation and stuff, but is it an actual physical thing? Kind of like time, it's just something we made up. There's no real time, or real directions. I'm sure aliens use both those things, but they probably use them in a different way than we do. I mean, yeah, they live in the same three-dimensional universe that we do. There's not like a fourth dimension, or even a second dimension where they just exist on one plane. No, they just have different measurements for stuff. You can let me know if you've ever had this phenomenon happen to you before, where you decide to just view the world briefly at a different angle. Or not even a different angle, like just a different directional viewpoint. And also, the mid-directions, like southeast or northwest, yeah, those aren't factors. They're only the base 4 directions, not any of the diagonals. You see, this sort of thing has been happening to me for a long time. It's just that when I was younger, I couldn't really describe it that well. And like when I viewed the house at a viewpoint that I wasn't a fan of, I couldn't even describe it to my parents. Something's bothering me. And they were like, well, can you try to describe it? I'm like, no. And interestingly enough, at my elementary school that I went to for about 6 years, I went to first grade twice, so that would mean first grade, second first grade, and second grade. Those first 3 years, we had a room that was called the gross motor room, which is basically just a playroom or something. I guess it's meant for toys that can't really go outside, so they made a whole indoor room for it or something, I don't know. And yeah, the name is exactly as it sounds. It was pretty friggin' disgusting. Like, nobody ever cleaned that bastard, but the point is, for the first 3 years I was at that school, it had its basic viewpoint. But then, when I reached 3rd grade, it changed. And it wasn't even me doing it, it just randomly changed the viewpoint that I was looking at it. Sure, I could still view it the way it used to be for a brief amount of time, but the default standpoint kinda just changed on its own. I don't understand why. I actually have no clue how on earth you would even begin to figure out what caused that to happen. Like, why is it just this specific room? Why not the whole school? But I digress. Now, do astronomers ever use northeast, southwest for measuring stuff in outer space? Like, do those same directions apply? I would assume so. We've gotten a lot of rovers and other crap to Mars in the past, so surely they do it in one way or another. But outer space always confused me because I can never figure out the exact shape of the universe. They say it's flat, they say it has no center. It's so confusing. What I'm trying to say here is, our galaxy is actually inside of the universe. Like in Vsauce's video, I don't remember which one it was, but he was like, the universe is basically like a giant balloon. And technically, on the surface of a balloon, there is no real center. You know what I mean? But then again, what's keeping us from leaving the universe? Like, if we could go many times faster than light, we could just leave our universe. Like, are we on the surface of the universe? Or are we inside it, and the edge of the universe is the boundary of everything that exists? Unless there's more out there, and we really are on the surface of the universe. Kinda get what I'm saying? But I better stop this episode now before I wear my brain out. I'm glad you guys watched the video, and I will see you in the next episode. What's that over there?